Alabama sends 275 National Guard troops to southern border. Alabama Governor Kay Ivey, pictured center, has announced plans to send 275 National Guard troops to the southern border as record illegal crossings continue to plague the nation. Ivey follows governors in at least 12 other states who have sent their law enforcement resources to the border this year, with the Alabama leader saying she made the move because every state has become a border state. Alabama remains committed to being an integral part of the mission to protect our southern border, she continued in a statement. The Alabama National Guard always stands ready to protect our citizens, and I thank our 275 troops, as well as their families, for their important service to our country. The move to send National Guard troops to the southern border comes after over 200,000 migrants illegally crossed into the U.S. last month, a number that sparked fury with many blaming the crisis on President Biden. At least 13 states have announced plans to send law enforcement to the border, with many responding to a request from Texas Governor Greg Abbott in May to bolster the front lines against the crisis. As well as National Guardsmen, some opted to send various law enforcement agency officers to help with practical issues such as processing, including highway patrol troopers sent by Ohio, Nebraska and Florida. Earlier this year, in May, President Biden announced plans to send 1,500 active duty troops to the border, alongside over 2,500 National Guardsmen already stationed. But Biden has been criticized by many Republican leaders for a lack of concrete, seeing his policies as allowing the border to become significantly weakened over his tenure. At least 13 state governors have joined in the move to deploy law enforcement officers to the border, including Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, who sent 800 National Guardsmen in May. Last month, California Governor Gavin Newsom also opted to increase his state's National Guard resources to the border, citing alarming rates of drugs pouring into the U.S. Fentanyl is a deadly poison ripping families and communities apart, he said in a statement, as he upped the number of officers stationed to 60. California is cracking down, and today we're going further by deploying more Cal Guard soldiers to combat this crisis and keep our communities safe. Other states to deploy either National Guard troops or law enforcement officers from in-state departments this year includes Arkansas, Idaho, Iowa, Nebraska and Virginia. Taxpayers usually foot the bill for the moves. However, Republican megadonor Willis Johnson donated $1 million to fund South Dakota's efforts in July. The migrant crisis has stretched lawmakers across the country, with Ivey's announcement coming after she and 24 other governors signed an urgent letter to President Biden calling for honest, accurate, detailed information over the state of the situation. As a result of your policies which incentivize illegal immigration, our states are carrying the burden of both the years-long surge in illegal border crossings and cartels' coordinated trafficking of drugs and human beings, the letter read. Sent on September 9, the letter highlighted the strain state governments are feeling as the deluge of migrants continues, saying, states are on the front lines, working around the clock responding to the effects of this crisis. Shelters are full, food pantries empty, law enforcement strained, and aid workers exhausted, her comments mirror those repeatedly given by Democratic Mayor of New York City Eric Adams in recent times, who has warned that the over 120,000 migrants flooding the Big Apple are destroying the city. Adams said that upwards of 200 emergency shelters across the city are at capacity, with one of the main drivers of the issues in New York coming from southern states busing migrants north to ease the strain. But states, led by Texas, choosing to bus migrants to other states argue that they are sharing the burden of disastrous border policies allowing the record crossings. In the Lone Star State, the small Texas town of Eagle Pass has become an epicenter of the unprecedented crossings. The Texas town of just 28,000 people has been inundated by migrants in recent weeks, with border crossings rising to around 8,000 a day in the week ending September 22, according to the Washington Office of Latin America. Throughout the fiscal year, more than 2.8 million migrants have had encounters with authorities, compared to 2.7 million in 2022, according to Customs and Border Protection. In September, Preliminary data obtained by CBS News found Border Patrol agents last month recorded an estimated 210,000 apprehensions, the third highest number on record. The colossal numbers signified migrants entering the U.S. without authorization in between official ports of entry along the Mexican border and was a sizable increase from the 181,000 recorded in August, the outlet reported. It does not take into account those who managed to make it across without being apprehended. September's apprehension tally is the highest since December 2022, when 222,000 migrants were apprehended, the second highest monthly figure on record. The 2023 fiscal year, which concludes at the end of September, saw 2 million illegal migrants intercepted, crossing the border, according to data seen by CBS News. That is the second highest annual figure on record. In May 2022, 224,000 migrants who crossed illegally were apprehended, setting the current record. Read the full story.
https://www.dailymail.co.uk/news/article-1260841/alabama-sends-national-guard-troops-border-illegal-crossings.html?. Time equals 400 ms. Greater than. Want more stories like this from the Daily Mail? Visit our profile page here and hit the follow button above for more of the news you need.